A very good morning, children. Welcome to today's session. We are discussing about food and health. Yes, so once a quick recap on what we discussed so far, children. So we discussed about communicable diseases. So what do you mean by communicable diseases, children? Yes, diseases that can be transmitted from one person to another. And even we discussed about the different ways how these communicable diseases spread from one person to another person. Do you remember, children? So first way only we discuss. What is that first way of communicable diseases spread very easily from one person to another? So the first way is by insects. So in this, what we discussed, children? So we discussed about different mosquitoes and fleas. So first we discussed about Aedes mosquito, which spreads dengue fever, and next we discussed about female Anopheles mosquito, which spread malaria, and the last we discussed about the flea, which spreads bubonic plague. And now we learn about the second way how the communicable diseases are spread. Are you ready, children? Yes. Now the second way is by air, water and soil. What is the second way, children? By air, water and soil. And in this we discuss about first few points. Air, water and soil are non-living agents. What are the non-living agents, children? Air, water and soil. Why we call them as non-living things, non-living agents? You have learned in the lower classes about the different features, different characteristics of living things and non-living. That means non-living things do not have life, they do not have death, they can't move from here and there. These are all some of the characteristics. Yes, so air, water and soil are non-living agents which can transmit diseases, which spread diseases from one person to another person. And next point is about the germs. The germs of the disease enter air, water or soil through coughing, sneezing, etc. by an infected person. And the next point is they can then enter the body of another person. And the last, there is a fourth point. The germs of common cold, measles and chickenpox spread through air. So here what are the diseases that spread through air, children? Common cold, measles and chickenpox. So while germs of diseases like cholera, typhoid, jaundice, etc. they spread through water. Children, what are diseases that spread through water? Cholera, typhoid and jaundice. Now we'll discuss about more detail about these all diseases. Are you ready, children? Yes. Now first we discuss about the diseases how spread through air. And the first one, now we can see the image and identify very easily the person is suffering with common cold. What are the symptoms we suffer with common cold, children? So we have some symptoms like running nose, sneezing, watery eyes. Sometimes we suffer with headache, fever and also body ache. Yes. So even sometimes a person, that means when an infected person sneezes, when an infected person sneezes, you can see here in the pic you can see very easily. So whenever he sneezes or whenever he coughs, the germs come out of his nose or mouth. Then immediately the germs enter into the air. And when a healthy person takes this air, he also gets infected with this disease. Clear? And next one we have about another disease called measles. What is it, children? Measles. Now you can see the red rashes on the skin of a person. So the measles is nothing but it is also spread very easily from person to person. And the main symptoms are, you can see like a cough, running nose, fever, red rashes on the skin, and even we suffer with the headache, body ache. These all things. Even sometimes loose motions also children. So we should be very careful with all these communicable diseases. And the next diseases you can identify very easily. Many of you might have experienced this disease. It is chicken pox. What it is, children? Chicken pox. Even this also spreads very easily from person to person. That is why we say it as communicable diseases. Can you remember and recollect once what are the different symptoms you see when you have a chicken pox, children? Yes, some of you know very well. So some of the symptoms are like rashes on the skin, fever, sometimes severe headache, stomach pain and itching on the skin, and this all caused due to the virus. Clear, children? So you should be very careful when you have a person suffering with all these diseases. Clear? And now we go ahead with how the diseases spread through water. And first image you see, children. So the person suffering with cholera. Do you know, children, how these cholera spread through person to person? And also it spread through water. Yes, the symptoms of cholera, can anyone? Yes, any idea about the disease cholera? And the person who gets this disease cholera, they suffer with vomitings, loose motions, and sometimes body pains and all. And why we get this cholera, children? Because drinking unclean water, that means dirty water. That is why you should be very careful. So drink proper water, that is clean water, filtered water. Clear? And next disease is typhoid. Even this also, the person suffers with fever, headache, and red colored spots on the skin, loose motions. A person becomes very weak. So you should be very careful while drinking water. Yes. And the next disease is jaundice. And you can see the eye, children, here. So in the eye part you can see the white and the black colored circle eye and this white part of the eye has become yellow. That is nothing but the person is suffering with a disease called jaundice. And especially this also spread through water and spoiled food also. So you should be very careful when you take the food and water. So you should not drink unclean water. Clear, children? So now we discuss about how you take care to avoid these diseases. That means prevention of communicable diseases. And the first important point is, now look at the image, children. So here you have some clothes and some articles are dried up here. Yes, it's nothing but the person. So all the articles and the clothes of infected person should be disinfected. That means whoever gets these diseases, the things whatever the person uses should be clean. Clear? And the second important preventive care is whenever a person coughs or sneezes, he should keep his hanky in front of his nose or mouth. So one must always cover the nose or mouth while sneezing or coughing. Yes. And next one, third important point is, and by seeing the pics you can say very easily, children, that means you should keep your surroundings neat and clean so that you can avoid some of the diseases. And the next one, see the images, children, here the water is stored in some of the containers. So that is a very danger for us, children. Why? Because it becomes a place for mosquitoes to lay the eggs, hatch their young ones and increase the mosquito population. Clear? So water must not be allowed to stagnate around our homes. Stagnant water is a breeding place of mosquitoes. So you should avoid all these things, children. Don't keep the things around your house like tires, plastic buckets on open containers like this. Yes. And the next important thing is, you can see here flower pots and containers which are filled with the water and flour and air coolers. It is important to keep on changing the water in room coolers, flower pots and other containers after every 3 to 4 days. If not changed, such water can become the breeding place of dengue mosquitoes. So you should go and change the water in flower pots like this, decoration purpose what we use, and also in the room coolers. Otherwise, the mosquitoes will lay the eggs, hatch their young ones, and increase the mosquitoes, and we get diseases through mosquito bite. Yes, and next important and the last one is about the vaccination. So whenever vaccination, that is must be done to prevent many diseases like measles, polio and chickenpox. Clear, children? So I just want to end up this session. Be careful, children. So nature is giving us many things, so we should be very thankful to the nature, and we are taking many things from the nature. So I request you all to make a small kitchen garden to protect yourselves from the different communicable and non-communicable diseases. Follow the tips and techniques, and you can ask your elders how the nature and nature methods to avoid these all diseases. Thank you, children. Have a good day.